Duval. It's the Flo Factory. We back at it with another Florida legend. Jacksonville Range, Duval's finest, Miami Hurricanes' very own Michael Pickney. What's up with it, my guy?
What's going on with you, baby? How you doing?
Man, I'm in a great mood, great vibe. Glad we could get you down here. You got some fresh things going on with your own podcast. And then I get another teammate of a month to open him up a little bit. Pause.
The biggest.
The biggest. Man, listen, man, that's Pinckney, man. Don't get it twisted. Pinckney been a big dog on campus for a long time.
It's you, not me, baby.
I never seen a player run campus before.
You ran the whole campus?
I never saw an early enrollee run campus.
Everything with Pink. You got to check in with Pinckney.
Gonna do me like.
You got to check in. Yeah, people posted up at every corner.
Mark Richt had to check in too, huh?
Yeah, bro, everyone checked in.
Everybody check in with Pickney when you get to Miami.
Check in, man.
So what's it been like, man? How's it been for you, like, personally, as retired? You just announced your retirement via social media and your podcast. But how's it been as a postgraduate of the University of Miami, I would say?
I think it's been different, man. You know, because my whole life has always been structured. It's been school, football, repeat. And now you got so much free time, man. You know, it was like a year where I'm like, yo, I got to stay occupied and I got to find that next thing because I had so much fucking free time.
Yeah.
It kind of made me nervous because I was like, I got to do something. You know what I mean? So it's a different lifestyle, but I'm adjusting well.
Yeah, that first time of not playing football hit us all. Like, I wasn't on you guys' level, but at some point you've been playing a game since you're like 7, 8.
Yeah,
and then that first fall of not playing, it hits a little different.
Yeah.
So what was that feeling for you? Well, it's coming up, I would say.
I think for me, man, it was, you said what the process was like, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I think I used to joke with my boy. I say, listen, I used to wake up at 6, 7 in the morning, nervous, because you know, you got early morning meetings or practice or something like that. So you wake up, damn, well, I'm missing something, but you ain't got nothing going on. So I think it was one of them things where you just adjusting to normal life, you know, trying to stay. But I think the football aspect keeps you structured enough. You know what I mean? You waking up early. I still try to work out. Whatever business I got going on, I try to handle that. So it's the lifestyle. You still kind of live in the same way, but just a different feel now.
Okay. What was it like when you met Amon, bro? Y'all played during the same time?
Hollywood, man. I call him Hollywood. Listen, AR's a guy, man. AR's a guy, man. He was, probably the best player on our team for a long time, you know. Great dude. I love him to death, you know. Been rooting for him on the field, rooting for him off the field. And, you know, that's my brother, man. You know, I love him to death. What y'all got going on, I love it. I took a game, a page out y'all playbook and implemented it in my own with the podcast thing, man. So, I want to big y'all up and
it's all
y'all
love.
doing it solid. Man.
It's all love. I think we all could coexist in this space. We 100%. Talk off the camera how important black media is.
100%.
Love what you got. Seen the first episode with Edrin James. Fire. Love the setting, the ambiance, the views. We're going to talk with your business partner a little bit, get him on and chat a little bit about some businesses y'all got going on. But
100%. Love
it all, man. He was calling you the pimp on campus. I don't know what was going on.
Don't listen to him. Listen, man.
Nah, listen. He gonna lie to y'all, man. I'm gonna tell you. Look, Pinckney, he just got a different personality, bro. First, I'm talking about it's like first few months on campus. You know, we trying to get to know everybody, all the freshmen and stuff. But why, buddy, asked me like when I'm gonna stand on the corner and get his bread? What the? I love that, but he had a straight face, bro. And I'm like, bro, what? But Peter, he's always been, you know what it is. You always been that cool guy, man. You're like an old soul, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like where your donkey? I know you got
He's so with a donkey.
I seen him in a Tesla and I was shook.
Man, that's a rental, man. That's a rental, no, man. But I think I always been the guy that I always wanted guys around me to feel good, and I wanted everybody to be loose. Cause when you come into college, man, you get dudes that's so uptight. And
right.
They think they gonna, like young dudes come in and think they gonna get hazed or we not gonna mess with them.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's a family. This is a brotherhood, man. I want everybody to feel comfortable because when you loose and you could do this shit in a good environment and you feel good about it, you gonna give y'all. And that's what I want dudes. Like, I got your back just how I want you to have my back. And that's the biggest thing for me. So I wanted dudes to know that I fuck with you. If we put on this helmet and we go out on Green Tree and we dine together, we can ball together too. And I always been.
But I think that you were like that, not even with the team. Like, I think that you were like that, with everybody, like, on campus. Like, people would walk up to Mike and be like, hey, yo, man, good game. He'd be like, man, I appreciate you. Like, what's your name? Like, he would stop, have a whole conversation with everybody.
Because I'm not bigger than nobody, man. I always felt like the difference between, listen, I was talking with Corey before we got on camera. There's so many dudes that could have been in my position that either, excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all boys.
Well, I thought that was me.
Nah, that might have been me. Oh, you one of the two.
It's all good.
That was him.
Let me make sure it wasn't me.
Yeah, so, it's so many dudes that was in my position or could have been in my position, but some either they got hurt or they got in trouble. So you one step away from being another guy, so you're not bigger than nobody. You know what I mean? Everybody's the same, and I wanted to treat people with that respect because you never know how that's going to come back to you down the line. You know what I mean? Treating everybody with respect, showing them love, letting them know that they matter and you happy for them to be around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had a lot of different offers during your recruitment period, though. So, like, I know that something that we talked about with, like, Sam's mom and, like, other players that we've, like, interviewed before was, like, what was going on with the process of, like, you early enrolled. So, like, okay, Al Golden left. Like, I'm still choosing Miami. Like, what's the deal?
So I'm originally from Miami. So I was born here, stayed here for a while. Then I ended up moving to Jacksonville, Florida. But Miami's always been in my heart, man. Like, I grew up 4 or 5 years old with a UM jersey going to the games with my grandfather, at the Orange Bowl. So that was something that I always wanted to be a part of. When I got the offer, I was sold, you know what I mean? I didn't have to go through the whole recruiting process and, play the little game. I didn't play the recruiting game. I was locked in from day one. I had an offer from the University of Tennessee, and I was entertaining that for a while because I was interested in it. I think that was my first ever college visit, so it gave me a different outlook on life, the college setting. So it amazed me, but when I took that University of Miami visit, man, I was sold. You know what I mean?
Who was your host?
I had JY. Yeah, I had JY. Juwan Young, that's my boy, man. Shout out to Juwan Young. JY is a good dude. All them dudes, they embrace us. Meet Shaq. Me and Shaq are from the same area, Jacksonville. He's 15 minutes away from me. I think we committed around the same time. I think I committed 4 months before he did, a couple months before at the camp. I think he committed as soon as he went back home. But it was something we was planning for a long time to go to Miami and be a part of that brotherhood and that tradition.
And Shaq's back in Jacksonville. Y'all see each other when y'all go back there?
Man, our schedules having a line. Shaq is back and forth. I got my kids out of state. I'm here. I'm there. So, when we see each other, it's love. We talk all the time, though. We talk on the phone as much as we can, but he's trying to do his thing. He's still playing. So it's a different schedule, but that's my dog.
You say that you locked into Miami from early on. I went back in time. I saw you took a couple visits to Florida.
Did you see me with my Miami shit on at Florida?
Hey man, you and Shaq was disrespecting my building. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm telling you.
You and Shaq y'all was disrespecting my venue.
Let me tell you something too. Hey, I don't like that you got your mans over here with all this Florida shit.
Man, I
don't appreciate that, man. You a Miami Hurricane, you gotta get him some Miami stuff. I'm gonna let it ride because I don't think you got him in the locker room.
Yeah, I attempted.
We trying to up the value of the property down here in Miami, bring some of this orange and blue, bro. Gator Nation everywhere, man.
It's country, man, in Gainesville. I'm right up the street, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
No,
Jacksonville is Gator country though a little bit.
It is. It's Gator country. Florida State. If you walk into any local store, you're gonna see Florida State in Florida everywhere, and that's something that all of my people's like, yo. What's up with you? Like,
yeah, what you got going on, baby?
Florida. But I didn't want to go to them schools, man. I didn't want to be in a college town. I wanted to be a part of something I felt like was bigger. You know what I mean? Something you can't. There's no other city in the world, like where college is at, that you can get experience like this. This is the closest thing you're gonna get to NFL living in the country. You know
Stadium.
what I mean? So,
either here or USC.
Yeah, USC, those kind of places. So I think to answer your question, I think Florida was cool, but I thought that they were a little unstable in my opinion at the time. I think they had Muschamp, and I forget who the next coach was. We had
McElwain.
Yeah. So they had a couple different dudes, but I just wasn't feeling Florida, man. I went there, I'm like, I ain't really feeling this area. I'm not feeling it. There was a good team, but it wasn't me.
What did I
feel?
Hold on. Was you and Shaq like talking with each other about trolling us as fans? Like,
100%. Listen,
I can feel it.
I'm in the locker room with a whole UM sweatshirt on.
Yeah.
With the jersey, the Florida jersey, but you can see the green and the orange on there. That's how I'm coming.
I was like, bro, who let them in my building with this shit on, bro?
How do you make it out of that university UF.
Yeah.
With the stuff on.
Cause they ain't gonna do nothing. We was
They
deep,
saw
man.
that. They not like that. They
Listen,
not like that.
We
Not
was
like
deep.
that.
I'm saying, listen, man, if you want me, you gotta do something to get me up out of this green and orange. Cause I'm sold right now. You gotta do something to make me feel better about myself.
Who was your host at Florida?
I think I didn't take an official visit. I ended up going as a group with the team, but like dudes that had the offer, we ended up going up. Yeah, so it was. They got a nice campus though, but I just wasn't feeling it.
Nah, no. I went up there for a camp in the summertime. I seen the moss on the trees. I swear that was it for me.
He's talking about a monster.
That's beautiful.
That's too
I
country
said,
for you.
that's
bro.
beautiful.
When they
What
said
are you
it
talking
was a
about?
Swamp, when they said it was a swamp, like I thought it was like an exaggeration. You feel me? Like a little pond or lake.
A little
whatever it
bit.
is.
Gainesville is the only place in the whole state that the Civil War was fought in the
It
state
looked
of
haunted,
Florida.
bro.
And the Confederacy won, like, and it shows in the university, like it
I
shows.
want to be in a slave town. You think I want to be a part
I'm
of
tell you,
something?
listen.
Look at you.
Let me tell
We
you
all
something.
looking at you right now.
You said they fight the players.
All I'm gonna say is, on Saturdays,
Yeah.
we kings. We not
That's all
slaves.
y'all got.
I'm just all I'm gonna say is, like, you talk to the players, they kings in the town, not slaves, man. Like,
They the only
it's not
thing in the
different.
town. There's nothing else in the town.
You're absolutely about that.
Nothing else in the town.
And you gonna get 90,000 on a Saturday and not 9,000.
It's all good.
9,000.
Damn.
Is he throwing a
I got
shot
a
at
question.
us?
Nah, I got
He throwing a shot at us?
But look, I got a question for you though, bro.
Yeah.
Would you rather lose in front of 100,000 people or 9? Which one would you choose?
Listen, man, I don't want to lose it all. Let's get that straight.
Right.
You know what I think it is? I don't know, man, because our fan base is hard. I think you got to choose another school because our fan base, I love, as small as our fan base is, they bleed this shit. Like, if you losing, they gonna run up on you like, hey, man, I ain't feeling this shit. I ain't feeling it. I'm not on that. Y'all gotta do something. I'm talking about they'll DM you and all kinds of stuff. So they bleed it. You know?
You ever had a bad game and you just check Instagram?
Oh yeah, man. I turn my notifications off.
It don't even be the rival fans. Bro.
It's on
Whole team.
They be like, nigga, you got hands like feet, nigga. Take
Yo, fans. Oh, my bad.
Craziest DM I ever got. You need to stay your ass around Rick Ross. And you I said, man, what me being around Rick Ross got to do with anything, man? I said, listen, man, I went to the video shoot. He's from the neighborhood that my father grew up in, so it's always been love. But, you know, I feel like a lot of times fans, they get so hell-bent on us being athletes that they forget that we regular people
Regular
too.
people,
we
bro.
regular people. We ain't no better than y'all, man. I got a life, and I know how to handle my business like a man and like a athlete, because I want to be a professional. I know how to handle my business. People, you know, think you supposed to be in the dorm room, study your playbook, go to sleep, drink a protein shake.
Yeah.
And it's just not, that's not how life is, you know. But, you know, I think they get that messed up sometimes. You know?
I know a lot of guys and like clients like now in the NFL that like, they don't say like, oh, I have practice or like, oh, I have to go to the stadium. It's like, I have work. I have work tomorrow. Like, this is my job. So, like, if you go to your job and you have a corporate job, or even if you don't have a corporate job, even if you work at the mall, even if you like, whatever you do, and you are outside of work, I'm outside of work. Like, this is my personal time. Like, whether you're an athlete, whether you're an entertainer, like, or whether you're not. Like, this is my personal time. So, like, why are y'all coming at me like this? Stop it.
It's actually insane.
Yeah, they don't, that's what content, why this is important to humanize like you guys, like give you guys a platform to talk about your personal lives, what you're going through from a personal level, whether it's girlfriends, moms, dads, children, whatever it may be. But they if they see you guys enjoying your life after a L, they losing their mind. Like, what are you doing enjoying your life? What the hell? You going out to eat?
And that's the thing.
Make a sandwich, bro.
And then you're happy? Oh, no.
Bro, I think like, you know, it's certain things that you shouldn't do. Now, I always been the fan of like, listen, why are you posting pictures of your fucking self and we just got our ass whooped? I ain't with that. Now, why you talking big shit and we just got our ass whooped by FIU? You know what I mean?
Oh, we gonna talk that.
Yeah, so like, you know, certain things
that.
is, you know, I feel like certain things is not acceptable, but me living my life and me, if I'm going out to a lounge or I'm doing something like that, I don't see a problem with that because that's what's gonna happen anyway. You know what I mean? The coaches go out for drinks after a loss. You got your ass.
It's
whooped.
work.
I need a drink to get me back right.
Right.
You know, so I think that's what it is.
So let's jump into 2016, man. You arrive on campus.
That's right. With you.
Freshmen getting to it. Hey, y'all boys freshmen getting to it. I was getting to it. The future was looking bright, man. I'm glad it kind of fizzled though.
Yeah.
Man, now that I'm like thinking about it, I was there too.
Yeah.
I was there too. I'm saying, but like, bro, like what was the transition from high school to college like that got you ahead of all the other people besides early enrolling?
Yeah.
It just seemed like you always had you was a step ahead of everybody.
You know what it was? I always approached it as this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do for my future. So I handled it like it's a business. You know what I mean? My high school, our coaching staff, they did such a good job of preparing us for that next level. My head coach was a student of the game like no other. You know what I mean? In terms of preparation for a game, showing me how to break down film. I used to stay late with him just to watch film, man, and the things he taught me transitioned over to college. So I walked on campus knowing how to lift weights and all these things that a lot of schools don't teach you coming out of high school. You got a lot of good athletes out here, but showing you how to be a disciplined athlete, a smart athlete is not. It's a lot of dudes just let dudes go play. They don't preach these things, and I think that's the leg up I had coming from a program like that. That they preach that, like, listen, you got to lift these weights. You got to be in this fucking film room. You got to be in shape.
Work ethic.
I told them, man, when I got to college, man, the way that they talk to you in college, dudes will think that's the worst thing in the world. Man, I done been called everything under the sun in high school. You know, when you get to college, they can't say certain things to you because whether it's racist or whether it's attack on you as a man, in the hood, you know, they gonna say whatever to you.
Yeah.
And it's whatever. So at that point, it is still something in me to be able to be ready for that next step. So I think that's what was the biggest thing for me. I came from that environment.
That range team was absolutely loaded, man. We was talking pre-show,
100%.
and I did some content with Rick Wells. Shout out to my guy Rick Wells, man. I consider him a friend of mine. Yeah, a solid dude. But I remember Rick Wells on that team, and you were speaking about the other guys on that team. So it was a lot of preparation as far as like you guys playing on the big stage.
Yeah.
Right out of Duval. What was it like? And you got the heritage of the Lido Shepherds, who's a Gator.
Lido.
Coming out of range. I gotta bring a Gator up, you know what I'm saying? Brian Dawkins. Shout out to Brian Dawkins. But it's some legends that came out of range.
100%.
What did that feel like pressure-wise or expectation-wise, like leaving that type of high school?
You know what it was? It was one of them things where when you prepare for it and you envision that moment, you can't do nothing but embrace it and be ready for it to happen. You wait for it for so long, like you see this shit happen before your eyes. So when it happens, you're like, I gotta go do this shit. I gotta put my name in the books at Range High School. You know, we had a lot of, like you said, it's a lot of talent that came from that north side. We had more dudes that was more talented than me, you know what I mean, that didn't get the opportunities, whether it was size or whether it was academics. So I felt like I had to do it for them boys. You know what I mean? Dudes that lost their life, unfortunately, but it's like, I was like, man, listen, I got to do this for the city. You know what I mean? This thing is bigger than me, and I always felt like that. It was always bigger than me. It was about my family, it was about my city, and about them dudes that believe in me. They like, listen, I ain't got the opportunity to go to no big time D1 school and better my life. I got to go to a JUCO school, or I got to go to one of these smaller schools where I probably won't get the opportunity to play on the big time stage. But you representing us, so do your shit. Represent us to the fullest. You know what I mean?
So I mean, having that as a goal of yours, and like going into college, did you feel any of the pressure? Like
it wasn't no pressure. I felt disrespected in a sense because it was like one of them things where, you know, we came in and all the recruits, everybody was solidified. So just going back a little bit, I was a 3-star coming out of high school, and I got my 3 stars by going to a rivals camp and doing some bullshit. And I was like, I didn't earn it. I'm like, I didn't earn this 3 stars. How you telling me that I'm a 3-star and all I did was do some drills, and you got a guy that never played football telling me that I'm a 3-star? So I wasn't so big on that. But you know, a lot of times fans, he's comparable to this guy, so they was telling me that I wasn't going, not the team, but the fans was saying like, in the media, he's not going to play till year 2 or 3. Ooh. So I came in with a chip on my shoulder, and I looked at it like, listen, the coaching staff is new. So in my mind, all of us are freshmen. It's a new playbook, a new system. We all got to learn this thing from square one. So I felt like this is my opportunity to capitalize on that, which I did. and be able to put myself in a better position to be able to ball.
I didn't really see that though. Like I felt like being on the other side, like in the athletic department, you, Shaq, and Zach, it was like they the three. Like they even had y'all take pictures together. Like that's how it was marketed. It was like y'all the three. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it was like that to other people, but you know, when you looking at the blogs and you as a kid, you're gonna pay attention to that stuff for a little bit. You know, looking at the blogs and all these things. Oh, you know, these kids probably not going. Me specifically, like he's gonna need a year to get himself ready. And I was like, nah, man, I'm ready now. Like I'm ready to run now. So I came in with a chip on my shoulder, and we had some guys that was in front of us that were great fucking talents. You had Juwan Young.
Mm-hmm.
You had Jermaine Grace. You had a lot of these dudes, you know, Darren Owens.
Another Duval.
Yeah, like Mike Smith. All these dudes were very talented, but a couple of those dudes ended up getting kicked out, and it gave us another opportunity to play. You know what I mean? So I think it was a mixture of things, and I think the timing of everything fell in place.
Yeah, coming into that, like it sounds easy, but like playing as a true freshman on any of these campuses, Florida, Florida State, Miami, even UCF, that is not an easy task, man. Like you guys coming in, those three, Zach McLeod, shout out to the 5'6" boy, Shaq Quarterman.
Yes, sir.
What was that experience like, that first experience on Green Tree when things got a little physical, or what was your first encounter like that coming to college moment of like, yo, this is a little bit different?
You know what? I didn't get my coming to college moment until during the season.
Okay.
I didn't, because we was trying so hard, man. We had chips on our shoulders. You know, me, Shaq, and Zach, crazy story. We came in, right, our first day. So Richt, he told us he'd think about getting us numbers 1, 2, and 3. Shaq wanted number 1, I wanted 2, and Zach was going to get number 3. We come in the locker room, you see 50, 56, 55.
Oh, y'all got lied to by numbers.
I'm telling you, I'm not lying. It's a fact.
That's crazy.
Looking back on it now, it's a recruiting tactic. You want to keep them numbers open so you can get the younger kids to come. I already got y'all, you know, so why I need to give you something that I don't have to give you. So it's a business, but, you know.
A little bait and switch.
Yeah, listen, we was like, we was a 4th on the depth chart coming in. Man, Shaq was mad as hell, man. When I tell you, we was like, man, listen, this can't go. We got to get on top of this depth chart. So I think we just tried real hard, man. We wanted it bad. We looked at each, like we locked in. We was in the same dorm. I wake up, I'm looking at you, you looking at me. Hey, man, we got to get in this playbook. We got to stay late, and we got to make sure that they know we the ones, you know. And I think we got the opportunity and we seized it. We actually got moved up to the first group. He was fucking with the older dudes. Like, he was messing with them. He threw us in there just like, y'all gonna let these freshmen outdo y'all? So it was one of them things, and it became like, damn, they balling. Okay, keep them in there. And that's how we got our shot.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. I remember during like camp, like you start to see the separations of the freshmen and older guys, and then like you said, once the freshmen took over, everyone kind of respected it. Even from offense and defense, everyone just like, they earned it because you put in the work.
Yeah, you was next level though, man. Hey, you took the team by storm, man. Hey, y'all, listen.
I play offense, so it's a little
Palm Beach, we knew. We knew it was about to happen. I was hoping that boy come to UF for sure. We knew it was up.
Listen, man, y'all, you know, you was a big part of my career, whether you know it or not, because I played a lot of fucking games hurt, and I thought about you. I thought about Malik Young, which y'all went through. And I'm like, man, these dudes can't play this shit no more. So I was like, who am I to have a fucking bum ankle or a bad shoulder or a bad hip?
That's real.
And lay down like that. I wasn't that dude. So I'm like, damn, man, if AR had this fucking opportunity, he'll seize it, man. So I always thought about you throughout that process, man. And, you know, I knew what you could do. Sometimes people forget what you were on that motherfucking field, but you was on the road to fucking Hall of Fame kind of shit.
Breaking Micah Irvin record, bro.
Man,
like, what we talking
like,
about?
listen,
My dog
man,
cooking up a little bit, man.
100%,
100%.
So, you know, God got a plan, man, and we here now. Yeah.
Essentially, Mike is saying, put some respect on AR.
Straight up.
But it's crazy. It's crazy you say that, right? Because I remember like game. You know, we watch a defense. You know, if Diaz will tell you, if he ever tell you for real. Yeah. But bro, I was like more excited for like us, like freshmen coming in making plays. Every time I seen a tackle for loss, bro, I seen 56 get up. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm turning on the sideline, then I'm ready to get on offense and go handle my thing. Like it was
you always turn on the sideline, man.
bro.
You was lit. Now you got energy like a motherfucker.
I really love the success of just everyone in that class because I really do feel like our class was a class that was like getting ready to turn you around. That's what every class say, right?
Yeah.
But I really felt like our class was the one that actually showed it. 2016, we go win the first, bowl game in 10 years. 2017, we undefeated, cranking, got everything in our palms. Campus crazy, everything buzzing. You know what I mean?
We lost a lot too in that class. You got to remember, we got damn near half the class got kicked out. Man, you had Sam Bruce, R.I.P. to Sam Bruce, probably the number one recruit in that class. Man, he was a talent that didn't get on the field. Deontay Mullins was a talent that didn't get an opportunity. All these dudes, you had we had so many dudes that were so talented, man. Yeah, Jack Allison, you had Javani Haskins, like all these dudes was next level talents, but for whatever the reason was, they didn't get the opportunity to play. So we was loaded, man, and I think the chips, they fell where they was at, but I think we definitely had one of the strongest classes to come through UM in the last 15, 20 years.
How did y'all get introduced to the turnover chain? Like, what was that moment like for y'all?
Malik was the first person to wear the
He was the first.
It was the
to the locker room.
Oh, yeah,
to the locker room. Like, y'all, was it practice? Like, when did y'all realize and find out y'all was getting a turnover chain?
So it was a meeting.
That shit was on the screen.
No, it was a meeting. So the meetings before the game, I think the Friday, Friday night you in the hotel.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I got a surprise for y'all. AJ the jeweler, shout out to AJ the jeweler. He made the chain. He was telling me, but he couldn't tell me about what it was, but he was like, listen, I got a surprise. It's gonna be big for y'all. So, I'm wondering what it was. I didn't think too much of it. They bring the briefcase out in the meeting. We got something big for y'all, man. That's what we want to do. That had the whole team, that had the whole defense turned, man, because they like, listen, man, this is some different shit. Like, this gonna be big. Everybody want their time to shine and put on the chain. It's a real Cuban link now.
Yeah, no, it's chunky.
It's chunky now, like 4-5 kilos.
I was hating, dog.
Yeah, it's 4-5 kilos.
Like, look at this corny ass thing. I was like, I gotta hate, you know what I'm saying? But like low key, I was like, man, that shit.
Everybody in the country went and copied it. People still wear it. NFL copied it. NFL fans wear it. Like, but that's nothing new. Like, Miami's been changing the culture of football for a long time.
We weren't the first to do it, but I think we made that thing big. I think it was some other teams that had something.
We had a chain. We had it was more of a chain.
Nobody care about that.
Cuban zirconi.
We had like we made it popular. Like, you can't duplicate this kind of shit.
Y'all got other people got the belt, other people got no. Like, this some real Miami shit. Like
The backpack.
Yeah.
The backpack though.
Yeah, nobody.
Backpack was
wow.
That was
That's the
bad.
stupidest idea I ever seen.
Backpack was wild.
Door to Explorer?
A hoop. I seen it was a bunch of stuff, but I think they changed I think that thing did so much in terms of momentum. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It changed the momentum of games. Like, when you see that chain go on somebody's neck, man, and they stand up on that motherfucking bench and the whole crowd is screaming and chanting, man, it changes.
All 9,000.
It kills that other side, man. It kills momentum, and that's what it did for us. And it motivated us to be able to it motivated us to be able to, like, man, we get that chain, man. The offense is gonna go out there and score.
Yeah.
We still celebrating. I done missed a touchdown because I'm celebrating defense by the chain.
I seen you black out one time when you put that chain on, bro.
Yeah,
it was Florida State.
Oh, man.
Caught that screen pass, a book.
God.
You get up, or you walk past me, bro. I swear, like, your eyes are all black.
I'm on demon time.
I was like, But I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the coldest, like, turnover chain moments because it was like to start the comeback. You know what I'm saying? To win the game with Florida State, and then when you stood up on that bench, man, you could just look in your eyes. You meant everything you said. So
listen,
I was watching. I'm like, God damn, man.
we was getting our ass whooped for a minute. We was winning the
28.
talking.
That's Nicosia game?
Yes.
That's Nicosia game.
Yeah, we was getting our ass whooped, and I'm like, man, I can't go out like this. And in my mind, I thought that was gonna be my last Florida State game. So I was thinking about coming out at that point. So I'm like, man, we can't go out like that. I can't lose. And they wasn't even one of the best Florida State teams. No shot to them.
They had way better.
They had way better Florida State teams. So I'm like, I can't go out like this. And that play, they ran that play like 3 times before that, but they
sound like Willie Taggart.
Yeah, they brought two linemen those 3 times before, but that time it was a mismatch because Shaq ended up bumping out to outside the box. So I was the only backer, so they brought one lineman for me, and I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna let this one lineman beat me. And I'm like, bro, you ran the same play 3 times. You ain't gonna beat me with it a 4th. So, but again, that chain changed the whole fucking momentum of the game because we went right after that and scored, and it was like a 1 possession game, and it just changed momentums, you know what I mean? And it definitely did it. That was a testament to it in that game, what the chain can do.
Speaking of Florida State, we were talking earlier about like the best backs that you played against. Like I know that we had talked about 4, like shout out Dalvin Cook.
Shout out
yeah, but
gotta be Dalvin.
Who's in the mix?
Dalvin's
like
crazy.
who's the top 5? Who's like? Ooh,
I can't
like,
really
I
say,
don't know.
man, because ACC has so many talented backs throughout the years. You may see a guy 1 year. I may have got like Dalvin Cook. I had him 1 year, but Dalvin Cook wasn't running how I know Dalvin Cook could run. He was already, in his mind, he was already going to the league. So he wasn't, we may be in a hole, he ain't trying to run me over. He trying to stay safe and, you know, just get to that next game so he can go get paid. So you got the Dalvin Cooks, you got, you know, the guys on my team on Green Trees, them some of the best dudes you're going to play. Mark Waltons, Gus Edwards, Joe Yearby's, you know, Travis Homer, DJ. There's so many, I can go, it's a list of dudes that I can go down the line and say they were good backs. You know, UNC had a good pair for a long time. Michael Carter.
Shout out Mike Carter.
Yeah, Mike Carter's my
Carter.
boy. The other one, they had, I forget his name, Williams. You know,
Jamal.
Yeah, so all these dudes was hell of, you know, backs. Duke had a back that was good. You know, dudes that we had to see every year.
You play against E10 or not at all?
Yes, I
Clemson?
did. He was good. Yeah, he was maybe a freshman. Yeah, I got to him a little bit. But yeah, man, you know, the ACC is all about speed and athletic ability, man. So you got guys that can catch the ball out the backfield. You got guys that can make you miss in the hole. Some of them got track speed. So it was one of the things where you had to be prepared for another challenge week in and week out.
I want to ask you something. I want to go back a little bit further. Your freshman year, your first game at the stadium, but what was it like coming out of smoke, growing up being a Kings fan?
Man, I cried. Man, I had tears in my eyes, and I'm not an emotional guy. So I had tears in my eyes on that sideline because I'm like, man, this is something that I prayed for and I envisioned for a long time. So me getting the opportunity to go out there on the biggest stage and do it was a undescribable feeling. You know what I mean? I couldn't even. It was like a dream to me at that point. You know, we played FAMU, so it wasn't like a hard game to come into college and do it, man. And I let it all out there, man. You know, I left everything on the field, and I think I went crazy. And I think I had like 13, 14 tackles, sack and a half, a couple TFLs. You know, there was one of them things we hit the ground running. You know what I mean? Me, Shaq, all them boys was eating. You know, I think, but you know, we came out of that game banged up. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm the last, man. I had bad shoulder, bad ankle. Zach McLeod had a migraine. He couldn't see. He on the sideline with glasses on, with a towel over his head. I said, yeah, boy, we ain't gonna make it 3 years. We ain't gonna make it 3 years with this kind of shit going on. It was different.
So we talked about the undefeated season, but I want to talk about that Pitt game.
Which one?
The Pitt game you guys lost.
It wasn't, yeah.
2017, my sophomore year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But you guys had so much success, so much momentum. Like, why the collapse? Was it an early morning game?
You know what? It wasn't an early morning. I think it was an afternoon game, AR. Was it like an afternoon?
We played at noon.
It was
like 12 noon. 6:30 wake up.
You know,
The 12 game noons are worse for the fans
yeah,
too.
it is.
But
We
Pitt
be
wanted
expecting
it
a letdown.
so bad
You know what it
because
was?
we were so good
I don't
that
think
season.
it was that though. In my opinion, I think we came out complacent. You know what I mean? Because we had so much success. We hadn't lost.
That Notre
so
Dame
much.
game.
that too.
That was a Notre Dame game year?
Yeah, that was 2017. We was on top of the world,
Yeah,
man. We
yeah,
was
for
like,
sure.
we can't be beat. I think we came out there and Pitt didn't have a good season that year. You know,
They didn't even make a bowl game even after they beat
didn't.
us.
They didn't. So they was like, you know, when you ain't got nothing to lose, man, you dangerous, man.
Roll
When you ain't
100%.
got nothing to lose, man, you will leave it all out there on the field because
Yep.
I'm turning my pads in after this. You know, some of these dudes probably never play football again. We was looking at it like, not knowingly, but, you know, me looking back on it now, we was complacent. We were complacent. We were just to a point where I don't think we took that game seriously. And, you know, we just came out there, man, and they surprised us. They hit us in the mouth, you know, and I think we couldn't recover from that.
I heard a lot of our guys say that though, like, oh, like Pitt only won 4 games, like,
Yeah.
you know, like that's
they
like
didn't
that
respect
was definitely the mindset, and Pitt wanted to knock us off.
Yeah, they didn't respect it at all.
They came when I remember the feeling, I always say this, the feeling when we came out of the locker room was like, it was eerie, bro. It was like, you know how a movie ends and you hear about it. But it felt like we was in the movie.
Yeah, it was, bro.
Yeah.
All our hopes and dreams about to come crashing, like something off All American or something. And I remember like warm-ups.
Yeah.
It was like no one really had that juice like usually.
Yeah, it was
And then
gloomy,
we went
bro.
out at the first drive and everyone's trying to get in the flow.
Yeah.
And then next thing you look up, it's like fourth quarter and them boys up celebrating over there. And we trying to come back and it was like a reality hit was like, damn. Man.
And I think it was to the point too, like we were going to go to the ACC championship regardless. So I think the coaches was like, you know what, our star guys, we need to make sure that they don't get hurt in this game because we going to the ACC championship regardless. Let's get prepared for the big game. If we lose in this game, it ain't that much. You know, we gotta chalk it up.
So we want to get into some Manny Diaz talk. What was that relationship like with him, and what was it like playing under a defensive mastermind?
So, you know, initially going into it, I didn't know what to think, you know, of Manny Diaz. I didn't know too much about his career, but our relationship was up and down, but it ended great. You know, at the beginning, you know, me just being a stubborn young guy, think I know it all. I ain't gonna say I ain't gonna say I didn't respect it, but I didn't think too much of him because, you know, if in my mind at that point, if you didn't play the game, how can you tell me how to play this game? You know what I mean? But as you evolve, you realize that it's some talented dudes out here that know this game better than anybody, that you ain't have to play it. But when it comes to these X's and O's, he know that shit better than anybody. You know what I mean? So in terms of knowing what the offense is trying to do, taking plays out of somebody's playbook, I think he's one of the best at doing that. And you see it now because he's going to be at a Power 5 school. Yeah, whether it's a head coach, whether it's a defensive coordinator. So that's my guy. You know, he's taught me so much about studying the game, being a student of the game. You know, he's like, listen, you got all the attributes physically, but I need you to mentally learn this game if you want to have a career in this game. So I think that's something that he helped me with, evolve.
Of course. And I feel like a lot of those freshmen that come out of high school to college have that difficult learning curve where, you know, they gotta learn a new system. I know for you, at Reigns, you guys went at 3-3-5. You get Miami, Manny Diaz on a base 4-3.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I want to know. Like, how did you quickly adapt to become a starter?
So, what anybody knows about defense is, you know, that the 3-3-5 it's difficult for a linebacker because you got a lineman on your ass every point. But so when I got to the 4-3, I got 4 down linemen. I got a guy covering me, and I can just roam free and scrape over the top and make all the plays. That's music to my ears. And he was one of those coaches that let his players be players. He's not going to complicate the game for you. Listen, keep it as simple as possible. Don't try to take a bunch of notes and try to, because you're going to mess up. His motto for us coming into it, listen, you're going to make a mistake, but I want you to make a mistake going 100 miles per hour. So that was something that stuck with me. I'm like, listen, man, I'm going to be full speed wherever I think that ball is at. And I kind of took advantage of that saying a little bit because if I thought something was going to happen, I'd go. And I ended up making a lot of plays like that.
Yeah, and to be such a dominant defensive coordinator, why is it that you think some may say, had a difficult time adjusting to being a head coach?
I think it's time. So I said this on my own podcast. Me and Edwin James got into this a little bit. I think he didn't have the resources to be successful at Miami. I think that now you see with Mario Cristobal, they rolling out the red carpet for him. They're not sparing no expense. They spending the money. They're giving him everything he needs to be successful. I feel like with Diaz, you know, you giving him a job, but realistically, you know, Miami, you ain't got but 2 years to be successful before they start calling for your job if you're not in the right position. So I feel like his hands was kind of tied in a sense, and it's a hard job coming for your first head coaching job. If he would have went to Temple, had success, and then came back, I would have liked it better in that situation. But I think that they didn't give him enough time to do what he can do. And he had, like, for a minute, you know, the record wasn't as bad as it seemed. They just wanted better results because Miami wants to get back to those championship
The record might be better than Cristobal at this point now, like low key.
But the only thing I would say with that is Cristobal, this is not his teams. You know, and I touched on that with me and Edge. Cristobal is building a team now where he's going to get his players and all his guys are becoming older. So now this is what we can see is Cristobal the real deal. And I think they're going to produce this year. I think this is the year for them.
Yeah, everybody's been waiting on Cristobal for a while now. I would say, like, Miami fans, it's like a coming to home. Miami's a Miami guy, Cuban guy. He just fits the culture a little bit. Played at Miami as well, which is very important. That's the difference, I think, between him and Manny Diaz is that Manny Diaz is a Florida State guy, really.
He Dade County now. He
from Dade.
He from Dade. You know, you got to take your opportunities where they come. You know,
sure.
If he would have had it his way, I think he would have been a hurricane from the beginning to the end.
I respect that.
Yeah.
What do you think? Cause Manny Diaz come back as head coach after getting the Temple job for like a few weeks. Richt stepped down.
Yeah, quick.
They bring Manny Diaz back. He's the head coach now. What do you think about the start of that, and which is led? Like, it started off okay.
It did.
You know, turnover chain popping. The defense, like, he had some momentum in the city even before he left. But he comes back. FIU loss happens.
Yep. I think that year was crazy, man. So going back and looking at it, you know, Shaq coming back was like, listen, you know, I think it's an opportunity for us to do more for the school, help Diaz build his team and leave it better than what we found it. And that was our whole goal. You know, we didn't want to run and go to the league and not make the school better than what we found it. You know, we talked to the Beesons, we talked to the DJ Williams, we talked to the Vilmas, all them dudes like, listen, if you ain't got a first 2-3 round grade, what is you leaving for? You know what I mean? Like, what you ain't accomplished enough. Like, why are you settling? So in our mind, we're like, you know what? Let's come back. Let's better ourselves as players. Let's help the team. Let's lead a team, and let's see what can come about for this thing. And I think we had the right mindset, but we didn't have all the tools to accomplish that goal. Looking back on it.
So what happened week 0 against UF?
You made wrong decision, baby.
You go back and look on it, man. It was just a lot of mistakes that we made as a team. You know, special teams. I know we missed a lot of points there. We like muffed punts. We had missed field goals. Jeff Thomas. Shout out to Jeff Thomas. You know, great player. But it was a lot of errors on our end. You know, UF kept it real vanilla. They didn't do anything. Out of the ordinary against us. I think that we shot ourselves in the foot, you know, but I think we had that game and we just couldn't come out on top. But we started out hot, you know, and I after that game, I had a good feeling about the season after that game, because I'm like, listen, we there. We competed with that team, because everybody came out and they said that they were going to destroy us in the trenches. And we made sure that we let it be known, especially on defense, that we oppress, you know, we here.
The defensive trenches showed up, but our defensive line got off.
Yeah, because we was playing against an offensive line you had a young offensive tackle that was
Zion.
his first. Yeah, Zion.
Yep.
Anybody at that point, you going against, you know, Florida did have a gangster D-line. So
Grenard at that time, man.
Yeah, so you got a freshman that transitioned from, he was like 190 pounds,
for sure,
soaking wet coming into campus. He had to get himself to 260, 270, 280, 270, 80 pounds. So that was a lot for a young kid going in, but I think he got better throughout the season. But if we would have had certain things in place, then I think that would have been a better game, a better outcome for that game.
FIU lost, man.
Yeah.
Kings of the city at that point, man. They took over Dade.
Not too much.
You know,
that's what I was selling to
the city is crazy.
They took over the city.
They was rapping for
Butch Davis, bro. Like, that's his time.
They was rapping.
When I would go back to saying, you know, when you ain't got nothing to lose, man, you dangerous, man. And I think FIU came out with the mentality that they wanted to upset. You know, them dudes, this was probably late into the season. I think our team was just not on the same page as a team. A lot of dudes started to get off in their own mind. We had a lot of star players that kind of veered off into their own. And I think in that game, like Amon was saying earlier with the Pitt game, I think it just didn't feel right during the game. It didn't feel right going into the game. And I think as a result, you know, we took that loss. And it was tough, man. You know, like, again, the fans, they let us have it. You know, they
also
like,
played at Marlin Stadium.
Yeah.
It wasn't a football field.
No, it was weird. That's not an excuse, though. We should have came out and we should have handled business.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, we should have came out and handled business, and they just won on that day. You know, they wanted it more than we wanted it, you know.
What did you do after the game, man? I have to know. Was it tears? Was it anger?
It wasn't tears. It was
disbelief.
Club 11.
It was one of them things, man. You was disappointed, man. You was disappointed. You were upset because a team like that shouldn't be playing with you. No disrespect to them, but we recruit and we got different kind of players, for a reason. So I think as a leader, I felt some kind of way about the team at that point. I'm like, listen, this is not what I set out to do. So it hit me hard, man. It definitely hit me hard. But it's like any other game, man. You got to get ready for the next week. Whoever that next opponent was, I had to, you got to have a short memory when it comes to football, and you had to get ready for that next week.
Preparation-wise, though, leading up to that game, I'm just curious as to, because great coaches is going to have you up for every single game.
100%.
We talked with Tyreek Stevenson about some of the letdown games that he had at Miami.
Yeah.
And he talked about the difference between Kirby Smart and then playing at Miami.
Yeah.
So leading up to that week, what was Manny Diaz like? Was it the preparation on point?
You know what it was? I think he started to focus more on the offense because that was our weak point. Like our strength for my whole time there was always the defense. So I think he kind of got away from defense in a sense and tried to focus on offense, but that's not really him. He's a defensive-minded coach. So I think coming into it, we had a plan. I just think that we couldn't execute going into it. We had a good plan, but I think we just didn't execute, and I think it was real dry in terms of the energy. And like I said, that matters, a lot of times. Like I even know when we got a turn, like whatever the case may be, like the turnover chain didn't come out, dudes was flat. And it was one of them things where I think we knew we were a better team, but we didn't go out there and play like that.
Right.
Do you feel like you left Miami with any regrets?
Regrets? I can't. Of course, I wanted to accomplish more, but I couldn't say that, man, because I left my all out there on the field. Like I gave Miami everything I had, my body, my mind, my soul, everything that they needed me to do. I done it. Even when I didn't like it or I didn't agree with it, I was never the problem. I wanted to be a part of the solution.
So the torn labrum that you towards the back end of your career and then going into the draft for a turn year, was that when you dealing with some of those injuries towards the back end of your career, man? Because I know you went through the whole 4 years.
So it happened. So initially it happened before the beginning of my junior year. Yeah. I ended up tearing my labrum. I felt it in practice my junior year in camp. But I was, at that time, I didn't think too much of it because, wear and tear is something that's going to happen, especially playing this game and playing linebacker. So it was one of them things where I was spending so much money and time on my body that I kept it together at that point in time to be able to go out there and play. And in my mind, like I said with AR, listen, if it's not hanging or you can't not go no more, then I'd be damned if I'm not going to play this LSU game because of something in my mind that I thought was small at the time, but it came big over the time.
Did that play part of you choosing to play the FSU game? I know there's some
FSU. See, like I said, at that time, man, I was spending so much money and time on my body, man. I was going to dry needling appointments, cryotherapy, yoga twice a week, massages. So I felt it, but it wasn't one of them. It was a nagging injury, but me looking back on it, I'm watching film. I'm seeing the effects it had on me, but when you in the moments, you don't see it because you still out there making plays and you ain't feeling like it's a drop off. You feeling like it's certain things that you could do better, but it's like, okay, I'm still making these plays and I'm not a problem. I'm still doing what I need to do. So I didn't look at it like that, but it definitely affected me looking back on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw like some articles coming out like around draft time.
Yeah,
stuff started coming out about the injury and like you sliding. Like, How much of that was just real? Like, do you feel like that played a part into you quote unquote sliding?
It did. I think it did, bro. Because it's like you look at it from a standpoint. It was dudes that from other school, like the Patriots. They told me like, listen, if you would have been healthy, we would have drafted you. But it was such a weird year with COVID that we needed dudes to go right now. We couldn't invest in a guy at that point in time that needed time out. I was looking to miss almost halfway into the NFL season at that point. So a team drafted me to have me sit down at that point in time. It didn't make sense for them. Why not? Right. We can just get him when he's healthy in almost half a year, 6-7 months. So that's where they were at with it. But I think it did affect my draft stock because I did great at the East-West Shrine game. Mm-hmm. If I go showcase my talent at the Combine, you can't not draft me with the film that I got and the years of experience and what I did in that time period. There's no way that you could not take a pick on me. You know what I mean? Wherever it would have been.
What was your mental like at that time? Because I know it must have been tough, man.
I think at that period of time, man, I felt like God slowed everything down for me at that point in time because, you know, everything was shut down. There wasn't nothing going on. Right. So I had a time period where it wasn't nothing but me waking up, rehabbing, get myself back to where I needed to get back to so I could be able to go and play the game that I love. So it was one of them things where I was locked in, bro. I wasn't partying. I wasn't doing nothing but waking up, going to see my guy Kyle Crump, shout out to Kyle. Going to see him every day, twice a day, and trying to get back to where I needed to get back to. So it wasn't no pressure on me.
I think COVID was definitely a difficult time. And I came across an article where you was talking about a conversation you had with your doctor. Yeah. Is when you opted to get surgery, you said that your doctor said if you would have came a week later, that's when all the hospitals that closed down, right? Yeah. So what went into the decision to ultimately get surgery? Was it to have a better shot at another team?
You know what it was for me? I thought about it. So initially going into it, I had COVID. I had COVID going into the surgery, and I lied to them about having it because I knew I needed the surgery that bad.
Respect.
Yeah, I lied. Listen, I lied. I was just fucking waiting. Listen, I'm in the waiting room. I'm sweating in the waiting room because I got the chills, but I know I needed the surgery that bad, and I knew if I didn't get the surgery, teams were going to ask me why you not testing at the combine. Yeah, right. And I didn't want to go lie to teams and say, oh, I pulled a hamstring or something. Yeah. So I wanted to go get the surgery, just get out the way. And I wanted to get back to myself because I didn't feel like myself for a long time. So I'm like, man, listen, let me get back to full go mode. And when I get into the league, I can make it up on the back end because I know me at full speed, I know what I can do. So that's what gave me the confidence to go lay down on the table and say, listen, I ain't really tripping on not getting drafted. There's a lot of dudes that go undrafted that go on to have great careers. So I thought that's what I intended to do.
Day one in New England, bro. How is Bill Belichick? What's that interaction like?
That's my dog, man. Shout out to Bill Belichick, man. Everything about Bill that they said wasn't true. You know what I mean? In terms of how he don't have a relationship with the players, or he's not a good dude. One of the best dudes I'd have met, coaches-wise, that I'd have met coming through my career just from being younger to getting older. He loves Miami dudes. Every day he got a Miami story for me about some different dude that came through and he coached with the Giants or with the Patriots, all these teams. So that's a real organization though, man. They all locked in and they all got the same goal to win. And you see it within the championships, you know what I mean? That team been winning for so long. So I was just blessed and happy to be a part of that because I felt like that's something I need. They out in Foxborough, it's nothing else out there to do but football. So you got a chance to really lock in. So I felt like it was meant for me to be there.
Yeah. So I read another article where during your time with the Patriots, you had a 6-game suspension.
Yeah.
So what kind of went all into that? Was it to accommodate the pains that you're feeling from your injuries? Or
so throughout the process of me rehabbing, I'm in the gym, whatever the case may be, taking supplements just to get back where I'm supposed to be at. Yeah. It was one of them things where, okay, Mike, you got something in your system. Do you want to lay down or do you want to fight it? And eventually, when the season comes back around, you got a 6-game suspension then and now. The Patriots like, listen, go take the 6-game suspension. We're going to sign you back, which they did. And you come back next year, like we seen enough from you where we confident enough about signing you back. And they ended up signing me back, but it was such a bad season that they had to spend $300-400 million on players because they had so much money in reserves that, you know, they don't spend money. The Patriots don't spend money on players. That was the first year that they had to go out and spend so much money. So the timing of everything was bad at that point. You know?
No, that's what's up. Do want to talk some more pro talk. Yeah. But before I want to, how did you get wife beaters banned at the University of Miami?
Wife beaters banned. We couldn't wear goats to class and hoverboards. You got all 3.
Oh, my hoverboard, man. Yeah, I remember that.
It was different.
Yeah, it was one of them things, man. You know, Miami's a hot city, man. It's humid, it's hot. So most of the time, for people who don't know, we practice in the morning, not like other teams. Most teams practice after class. So I'm waking up 6, 7 in the morning, I'm going to class at 1, 2 in the afternoon. I'm a heavy sweater. So I'm already, my pores is open from getting out the shower.
You got the big man towel.
Yeah, you see my towel.
Yeah, I see it.
I'm sweating. I'm serious. Yeah, man. So, I'm going to class and I think I'm a good looking guy. You know what I mean? I think I look good, so my muscles is out and I'm sweating. So I don't want to have on a shirt and I'm coming in here, I ain't looking good. So I'm like, I'm gonna wear my tank top, that way I catch a breeze and
let them see these games.
Yeah, like listen, I'm in the gym, baby.
Yeah.
I'm in the gym, but Mark Richt, he wasn't feeling like that. He wanted you to, present yourself in a professional manner. And that's what I had to do at the time. Like I said, I could have argued with him and said I'm gonna do what I want to do, but I didn't want to be a problem. So, I laid down and, just put on my shirt for the time being. I took it off after class though. I took my shirt back off after class. I'm put it on for class, and then after class, I'm gonna take it off.
The professor that snitched on you gotta be crazy.
I don't even know the professor who it was. They wouldn't tell me who it was.
Call Mark Rick like, man, you got one of your players coming here with some muscles.
I told him,
it's too much.
I said, Rick, listen to what you saying for a second. You telling me I can't wear a tank top to class, but there's chicks in the class that they damn near half
bathing
naked.
suits.
They
like,
damn
we
near
was
half
talking
naked.
about that. Yes.
I'm looking at her. She damn near half naked, like she supposed to be in Live, man.
You matching her vibe.
Yeah, so it was one of them things. But again, like I said, I didn't want to be a distraction. You want me to put a shirt on? Fuck it, I'm gonna put a shirt on.
Respect. Respect. Can't do nothing but respect that.
Yeah.
So after your Patriots tenure, you get signed 3 months later to the Chicago Bears. How does all that play out? How does all that work?
Again, another bad timing thing. I was so I didn't go to Chicago healthy. One of them things where if it's not, I still had the mentality, if I'm not 100, I ain't tripping on it. So I go up there, go through the mini camp, but I wasn't healthy. And I should have told them about that because they asked me about it and I lied. And I should have told them, listen, I got a torn, like my hamstring is torn right now. So give me some time to recover. Go up there and I don't put the best on tape. And as a result, they're like, we can't sign you because we feel like you're not in shape. But that wasn't the case. I just was hurt. So it was one of those things where I should have just said what it was versus me lying about it.
What's the Grim Reaper like in the NFL? A lot of players talk about like that guy walking around the locker room to come tell players cut.
Boy, listen, it ain't no joke, man. It gives you a different outlook because you never experienced no shit like that before. When he coming, man. And you see it and everybody else see it, but you don't see it. Like you don't feel it, but everybody else feel it. And you looking back on it, everybody looking at you and you don't know what's going on. Like, hey, listen, hey, Bill Belichick want to see you. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Everybody else looking like, oh shit. Like, oh man.
Playbook.
Yeah, man, it's one of them things where it's, all the coaches want to talk to you individually. Like, I don't want to talk to y'all. Man, come on, man. You cutting me. Like, you taking a job away from me. So, but it's a reality check, though, that you can lose your job, and that's something that you had to get used to if you was in that field. And I always knew that was going to be a case at some point. It's not a good feeling, but it's business. You know what I mean? So you got to expect it. Even the best going to get cut at some point.
What's the difference? Like, so you get to college.
Yeah.
And you play right away as a freshman. So like that playing early, you play early at Reigns as well. Mm-hmm. You get to NFL and now you're trying to find that spot. Yeah. Mentally, like how's that wearing on you?
Mentally, man, listen, at that point, man, I wanted to be the best I could be. With the Patriots, I kind of figured that I wasn't going to be on defense as much because the scheme that they run, you want your middle linebackers to play in as well. Like they go down and switch formations and he may be rushing the passer. Right. I'm not a pass rusher. Like I can rush the passer from a linebacker standpoint, but I'm not going on the line and wrestling with Trent Williams. That's just not what I do. So, I think
respect.
I looked at it like, listen, man, let me go put some good special teams tape out there. That was my goal when I was with the Patriots. Let me go put some good special teams tape out there. If I'm a special teamer, I'm gonna be the best special teamer I can be. As long as I'm getting paid and getting a check and I could take care of my family, that was my goal. I didn't care too much about being a starter. Now, if it came, I wanted that. I don't get it twisted. I wanted to be the starter, but hey, listen, I ain't tripping on this. I'm going to do my job and do what I need to do for the team.
I want to talk about, like, what went into your decision to officially retire?
A couple of things, man. I think for me, I didn't want to keep doing the bouncing around thing. You spend a lot of time and money into getting yourself ready to play this game, and I think I think business first, you know, and it wasn't a good business decision anymore for me. I'm spending more money than I'm making. You know what I mean? And then, you know, a lot of dudes want to keep playing this game for notoriety or you don't want to go get a job because you think it may make you look some kind of way. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to retire and you're going to have to go get a fucking job. You're going to have to go build your career. Most dudes that play this game, it's only a small percentage of dudes that can retire from this game and not have to work again. So in my mind, I was at like a UFL tryout, man, and I seen a dude, he was out there in his mid-30s trying to make the UFL team with his family out there. His kid, his wife, and his shorty was in the stands, and they was hoping that he make the team so that he can make 50 G's. I said, oh, hell no. I ain't that was a reality check for me, and I was like, you know what, man, let me start my career, my life now, and whatever I want to go do, because this is what I'm gonna have to do anyway, and let me do it while my name is still hot in the city and people, my face is still good. Let me get into that now versus I'm trying to trying to make something happen, and I'm in my 30s and now I'm all confused and I don't know what I want to do with my life.
Of course, I feel like you go your whole life playing ball, and you know, you're blessed. I think something that we don't appreciate is the fact that you can walk away from the game healthy.
100%. Yeah, and I didn't even touch on health, man. You know, my health is important to me, man. I want to be able to have a long life and be able to play with my kids and enjoy my life. You know, I don't want to. I know a lot of dudes that this game has done some everlasting damage to them and that they can't recover from, man. And I'm thankful. I got wear and tear injuries, but it's nothing that I can say is affecting my life day in and day out now. So I made it out the game healthy enough, and I think I got enough from it that I'm satisfied with the way my career and my shit went.
No, of course. I think it's hilarious hearing about your street cat in Miami, but what's fatherhood like?
Fatherhood is a beautiful thing, man. It's one of them things where it hits you out of nowhere and you think like, man, I really needed this, because you see the way you were living before then, and you not like I was living crazy, but it give you a sense of purpose. I know my family was always there, but when I think about something that I'm doing, I'm like, I'm doing this for them. You know, like I get mad at myself because they out of state. I get mad at myself because I don't get to spend as much time for them, but I know the things that I'm doing is for them. You know what I mean? It's for them, it's for my family, it's for my kids' mother. I want to be able to be there for them as much as possible, but I know I got to sacrifice my time. You got to sacrifice something. So I think my time right now is something that I want to sacrifice so I can be like, Dad invested his time into this so you can be able to go do this, and that's my goal.
No, I think it's rare that like Mark was saying, that players leave this game physically and mentally intact. Yeah. Because there's a mental side of it as well. But business-wise, you seem to have your wits about yourself. This rum that you got right here got me leaning.
Man. Yeah, listen, man.
I had to put it down, bro. It's too smooth, bro. Like,
it's the Sunrisa rum, man.
For sure, it's a vibe.
4 years age, man. One of the best rums out online right now. Y'all go get that.
What's that like? How did you get into this endeavor? We got your business partner with us as well.
So I'm not officially a part of it, man, but it's my brother's rum, and he, you know, something he's a part of, I'm a part of it in a sense. You know, I'm one of them people that if you got a t-shirt, I'm wearing that bitch every day.
Already.
You know, with the rum. I'm not even a rum drinker, but
it's a different rum.
It's a different rum for one, and then for two, it's my brother's rum. So I gotta support in any way that I can. You know, I think about ideas for his rum, and I ain't getting a dollar from it, but it's not about the money. It's about the people around you doing the best that they can. You know, I'm one of them people. I want to help my people as much as I can, and I want my platforms, whatever I can do to big it up, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely like about showing love. Like Mike and I were talking about that when I had asked him to come on the podcast. Like he was like, oh, well, you know, like I have my own stuff going on with my podcast. Like, is that something that like Corey's gonna be okay with, like whatever. And I was like, we show love over here. Like,
showing love,
like
baby.
Support is free. Like reposting people's stuff on social media, like getting them their next client, like all that stuff is free. Like being able to support people that have always supported you, like that's really, really
I'm big on that. I'm big on support, man. I'm big on helping people get to that next level. Cause you know, people can say that they done something on their own, but the reality of it is you always need somebody that's there that's gonna help you get to that next level. And if I can use my platform or my connections or whatever the case may be to help somebody get to that next level where they trying to go to, then I'll do that. No problem.
All right. What else you have business-wise that's cooking up, man?
So I just launched my podcast. It's called The Inside Source with Mike Pickney. We just launched my trailer yesterday. Y'all go subscribe to my Instagram, The Inside Source with Mike Pickney. On YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We get it out there, man. And it was something that came about watching y'all, me and my business partner sat down like, listen, man, I think you would be great for this space, especially for Miami football, because there's nobody out there, former player-wise, that's talking about the Miami Hurricanes. And I got a lot of knowledge, I feel like, that I can give back. And I want to bring on former Hurricanes that done it at the highest level to give their opinion. Because I think this year that they're going to be a playoff contending team.
Y'all losing game one, though.
No, man, come on, Corey, man. Listen, we're going to put some money. I can bet on games now, too. We're going to put some money on that. We got to put something on it. But I think...
I'm down to wager with you for game one.
Listen, man.
I think y'all going to be favorite. Y'all going to be favorite.
Listen, we got too much in the tank, man. We got too much. I think Mario Cristobal is doing a tremendous job with the team, man. He's bringing the money in. He's getting the coaching staff. I'm hearing that. They had a lot of things that we didn't have, and I want to touch on that, too, just because... years ago, I was saying this, everything that's happening now, I said we needed this stuff. We needed a bigger nutrition staff. We needed a bigger training staff. We needed more better facilities. All these things is playing a part in them being successful now. You can't expect a championship level team and you giving us bare minimum to work with. Back in the day, you got these championship teams because that's what it was. Everybody had the same thing. But when you got Alabamas, you got Georgias, all these dudes, their resources is better than ours. Then how you expect us to go compete with we got the players, but it's about evolving and getting these players to that next level. And I think now that Mario Cristobal is bringing these resources to the table, we're going to be able to compete with these teams down the line. And we are in a recruiting stand.
People don't even know that Miami was the last school in the Power 5 to have an indoor practice facility.
Yeah, we just got
We
that.
were arguing and back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, but like the audience of like people that just watch college football, like they don't even understand that.
In a
like we had Greentree and that's it. And we go to Boston College in November.
Yeah, man.
Our guys have never seen that, ever. Like there are some guys that have never even been on a plane until they got to college.
That's most of these guys, but we got to get, because we winding down on time.
Yeah.
Shout out to the poverty of y'all getting an inside facility last.
Yeah.
I like that poverty.
We're a private institution, man. We ain't we don't use the money like that.
State funding.
State funding different, man.
Florida don't really use state funding like that, though. Like, the flex is a little bit, I don't want to get to the flex of, like, Florida money. But I do want to talk some Duval in Jacksonville rap culture.
Yeah.
It's been big in the news. That rap culture is very big. A lot of talented guys.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up here, but Foolio, rest in peace to Foolio. I know you're a big fan of all Duval music. What's your thoughts on the entire genre?
Man, I think it's a lot of dudes out of the city that is very talented, but they lost their lives, or they in the beefs and they going back and forth with things that, at the end of the day, it's not going to result in nothing but a loss. I think it's a lot of talented dudes that people don't even know, but they don't get the opportunity to see them because they dying or they going to jail. I want everybody from my city to win. I know people from every side of town, any dude that I see from Jacksonville doing something positive, I'm going to support them, And they talented, and you can see that because the world sees it now, and they feed into that energy, but I just wish it was more positive because at the end of the day, everybody want to make money and take care of their family, and I think that's the goal at the end of the day. So I want them to put aside their differences, but I know what's behind those differences, so I can't really...
Right.
I can't interject on those things. I know what's really behind it. So it's tough. It is tough. But those guys are great, talented artists. We got a lot of dudes. You got Young and Ace. You got RP Foolio. You got J Dot. All these dudes, some of us grew up together. And now seeing them on different platforms and they better in their career and they changing their family life, that's the goal.
That is the goal, man.
Yeah, that's the goal.
We can't leave without asking this question, but where does the relationship with Rick Ross and Jeezy come from?
So the relationship with Rick Ross, I used to ride dirt bikes with his son when we were kids. So it was over where the stadium is now, where the police station is now. It didn't used to be there. Yeah. But my dad and him, they're from the same neighborhood, Carroll City. So that was a thing back in the day when everybody comes to that neighborhood and they ride their dirt bikes. So he was just somebody that was in the city before he was Rick Ross. Yeah. So later on down the line, you know, everybody, you know, connected me with him. Chad Thomas, you know, he did some shout out to Tad Made a 9. We went, did a couple video shoots. We was in the Florida Boy video. And yeah, he was all, you know, he was just somebody that, you know.
That was our intro song for a little bit.
I seen it.
Clear that shit.
So, you know, it just, yeah.
Can we get Renzel to clear that for us?
Yeah, man, gotta hit Renzel, man. Yeah, but Rick and Trick Daddy, that's like damn to my uncle, man. You know, I can go pull up on him at any time. Sure. And, you know, them dudes embrace Miami coaching and the University of Miami. That's why I feel like University of Miami is different, because you can't go to no other school and a college player can go tap in with Rick Ross, you can tap in with Trick Daddy. All these dudes are available for you. And I think that's the difference between us. And with Jeezy, again, just we connected through a layer of things. I was thinking about signing with his agency at one point, but we didn't end up connecting on that. But I think we're going to try to do some business in the future with some other things down the line. Yeah.
No, that's fire. Hey, it's been another Flo Factory. We're going to tap back in with you, man. As you do your content, Black media is super important, man. Yeah. Just want to say that before we get out of here. Support everything he doing media-wise. We all going to grow, take over this space a little bit, but Duval. I appreciate you, my bro.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So we got a special segment called Flo Picks. Ray Lewis or John Beeson?
And as what, college or NFL?
I didn't know this was a tough decision.
Because listen, you know, Beeson was a bad boy, man. Beeson was a bad boy. Sure. Like Beeson wasn't.
But Ray is Ray.
Ray is Ray. I love. Listen, man. Ray is a golden linebacker. Of course, you got to say Ray, but you know, in college, Beeson had just as bad of a career in college than Ray. If you go back and look at it, but of course, over time, through the NFL, Ray's the greatest. Sure. Ever.
No Morgan in that conversation before we get off linebacker?
Morgan didn't have, again, in college, Morgan, listen, we'll be sitting here all day if we talk about Miami linebackers. You got DJ Williams, you got Vilma, you got, like, I tell people all the time, if I would have went somewhere else, I probably would have been in somebody's ring of honor in terms of college, but it's such a long list of Hurricane linebackers that my career don't look as good compared to Dan Morgan or Beeson or Vilma, because some of these dudes are Hall of Famers, you know. So, yeah.
Ed Reed or Sean Taylor?
Damn. I think you got to go with Ed Reed, because Sean T, unfortunately, his career wasn't as long, but Ed done it for so long, man. Ed was such a force to be reckoned with.
Greatest safety of all time.
Yeah, man. I think, man, it's nothing Ed couldn't do. Same thing with Sean T. I'm not taking nothing from Sean T, but I think Ed done it. Who knows what Sean's career would have been? I think it would have been just as good or greater than Ed's if he would have been able to go. I
got one for you.
Yeah. Okay, one more.
Hold on. Michael Pickney or Amar Richards?
Hey, man, listen, I ain't got nothing with y'all, man. Listen, y'all the only dude they was saying was going to go first round freshman year. They was like, after the freshman year, they like, y'all going first round, man. I said, y'all can go sit out for 2 years and go first round. So
it was different. Man, it was different.
He a receiver too, man. Receivers bigger stars than defensive play. We just win games. They sell tickets.
Sure. Nah, Pinckney, that's you, man. You got it. Your stat line crazy, by the way. Look up the stats.
Hey, y'all just want to make sure y'all remember what's up, you know?
Award winner.
Dude, man, I'm telling you, man. AI was.
Nah, Pinckney was like you said, at any other school, I ain't gonna lie, your jersey hanging for sure.
Oh, 100%.
that's crazy. So. Bro, you had like 13 tackles for loss in a single game, bro.
Oh, me stupid.
Syracuse 2017, come on, bro.
I went crazy that game.
We love the humility, though. We do.
Yeah, man. It's dudes. We had so much talent in those teams that dudes forget, man. You got dudes that you don't even talk about that wasn't big stars to the fans or college football, but just was just as effective or not more effective than me or any other person on that team. I think that's what was so good about our defense was everybody was eating in some kind of way. You know what I mean?
I think it's going to be a mess soon, but Mark Richt, Manny Diaz, Mario Cristobal.
I ain't really got coached under Cristobal, and I ain't been a part of his organization. But you saying as just a coach standpoint? I got to go with Diaz, just because I had a more personal relationship with him, and I think he kind of gets us a little bit more. He's more closer to the players. Like Rick wants you to be it's crazy. He wants you to be a better man than a better football player. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people love that. I respect that about him. But Diaz is here for ball. He wants you to be a good man too, but we got to put this shit on tape. We got to go out here and ball out, and we trying to go dominate, you know.
Braun or Jordan?
Jordan. You got
Yeah, man.
Hang it out. Oh, wait a minute. Listen, Jordan is the greatest basketball player that ever lived, man.
Debatable.
But
greatest ball head ball.
If we talk about as a person, if we talk about just people, good person in general, of course, LeBron, we ain't never heard not one bad thing about LeBron. He don't gamble, he don't smoke, he don't cheat. He's like the perfect
Put all his
black man.
homeboys on.
He's like the perfect black man. I've never seen nobody else
Sweet
more put
home.
together. I ain't heard his son got his
video.
He the only person I know that
turn
can
up.
get his son drafted. His son was good enough to get drafted.
That's how
But
good he is, bro.
Yeah.
That's how
I think,
LeBron's so good, right?
Yeah.
He's good enough to allow nepotism.
On the same
Jordan,
team too.
yeah, Jordan could never get Jeffrey
How do
drafted.
you feel about them comparing Anthony Edwards
Anthony Edwards,
Jordan.
to Jordan?
no.
Stop
You know what
it.
it-
Come on.
Stop it.
That's
I love-
not me.
no, listen, hold on.
Y'all, I'm
I
not
think-
even a basketball girly. That's not even me.
You
I'm
know
just
what?
Stop
asking.
it.
I don't
Like,
think
the
it-
comparison to Jordan just need to stop.
Yeah.
Like LeBron is LeBron.
Yeah.
Okay, so
He
y'all
plays
agree on that
forward.
one thing.
They play two
Yeah.
different positions.
Yeah.
Like they're just two different guys. But we just talking overall greatness. But I
No,
think
he's gonna be great, bro.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the face of the league in the next 2 to 3 years.
For
Anthony
sure.
Edwards, he's what, 23, 22 years old.
I think he's like 20.
I think he's younger than that.
He's 21.
Yeah, man.
21,
So
right?
he's dominating in this league already, and he's 21, 22 years old. So when he hits 26, 27, he's going to be in his prime. So he hasn't even warmed up to what he's going to be. So if he can go get those rings, you never know. But right now, no shot.
It's
You
just
can't
hard to
compare
do.
it to Jordan. That's disrespectful. He ain't even 5 years in yet, you know?
Let me get one in, man. I know we trying to wrap up here, bruh. I spent a lot of summers in Duval County. My grandmother, my mother, my whole side of that family is from Jacksonville, so I gotta do Jenkins versus Jerome's barbecue, man. Shout out to Moncrief, Northside Jacksonville.
You
man.
know, I think in terms of giving you a lot of food, you got to go with Jenkins.
Right.
They're going to give you a whole bunch of food.
Right.
For you. They're going to give you the best bang for your buck. Jerome got some sauce for your ass.
I'm trying to tell you.
You know what I mean? They got some
Trying to
sauce
tell you.
for you. Jerome going to put it out there, but those two, they've been such pillars in the community, man. They've been there well over 20-something years, you know, and I think it's hard to choose one. I pull up to either one at 12, 1 in the morning and get a plate if I can.
Already.
But shit, that's all we got, bro. Appreciate your time.
My dog. Love, baby.
Love.